A troubling new report today spells out what all that time on social media is doing to our teenagers.
Botox, eye transformations. How is social media affecting our beauty standards?
The algorithm is designed to make you think, oh, I do not measure up. I need to fix myself.
Anyone that says they don't use Photoshop is a liar.
When you enhance the way you look, not only are you lying to others, you're lying to yourself.
All four of us are sitting here making money off of people's insecurities, whether you want to admit it or not.
Let me give a piece of advice to everybody out there. Under-promise and over-deliver. Let's do it.
Good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. When you scroll through social media and see pictures like these, how does it make you feel? Do you wish you looked like them? Do you compare your body to theirs? Does it make you feel self-conscious? The unrealistic beauty standards from social media can be damaging to people's mental health. According to the latest research, 69% of adults and 81% of teens in the U.S. use social media, putting most of our population at an increased risk of feeling anxious or depressed, especially when they compare themselves to all the filters. Take a look.
Does spending too much time on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat actually increase loneliness and depression? That's the new finding.
A troubling new report today spells out what all that time on social media is doing to our teenagers.
The review of research confirms social media use is linked with mental distress, self-harm, and even suicide.
Instagram is not reality. We know this. Take a look at this. How easy it is just to shorten your nose, take away any bags under the eyes.
Research at Facebook found that its photo sharing app, Instagram, can harm the mental health of millions of young users, and the company has known about it for years.
Of course it's a concern. I mean, the algorithm is driven to make money.
Well, tech expert Shelley Palmer says social media is the worst thing to have happened to humanity. He says many users have trouble understanding what's real and what's fake because social media showcases fantasy.
There's really nothing good about social media. Social media is bad for everyone. It's bad for your self-esteem. It's bad for your body image. If you're coming of age on social media, you are faced with a horrifying dilemma. You absolutely cannot tell the difference between reality and fantasy. We're living in a world where the best pictures, the best video are what people post on social media. So it's impossible to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. And so you get this completely bizarre, distorted view of the world. I mean, it's fun to be able to whiten your teeth and brighten your eyes, and when it's real clear that you're doing it as a joke, but when you make subtle changes to enhance the way you look, not only are you lying to others, you're lying to yourself. Social media apps are all designed with one purpose in mind: keep you on the app as long as humanly possible. The kids coming up today, their interaction is 100% digital, and ultimately, I think it's going to cost them. Social media is as addictive as the best sexual activity you've ever had, the finest food you've ever dreamt of. There is absolutely nothing more addictive. The healthiest way to use social media is not to use it.
Not everybody agrees. Influencer Violet Benson says not all social media is bad. In fact, it has made her life better. She says after being bullied, she turned to social media to build not only her confidence, but a successful business.
I love social media. It's essentially one of the best things that has happened to me. Before social media, I was a full-time accountant, and I was constantly being told to tone down my personality. I just felt like so invisible, and social media changed that for me. I remember that I was like, wouldn't it just be silly if I just created an account just for fun, like a meme account? Created Daddy Issues, the Instagram account, which was anonymous. But it was my alter ego. This girl was so cool. Everyone loved her. All the boys liked her. Social media has given me opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. I was able to quit my job, and then the second year after quitting my job, I made 3 times that. Thanks to social media, I was able to buy a home. Hi guys, welcome to my beautiful home. This is my beautiful office. This is my kitchen where I don't know how to cook. I have around 5 Instagrams right now. All of them have a ton of followers. I also have TikTok, I have Twitter, I have Facebook, and I have Snapchat. It's a full-time job. I have close to 5 million followers. It lifted me up. Obviously, now I'm no longer anonymous. I don't believe that social media is toxic. If you don't feel good, then you have a choice to turn off your phone and put it away.
Well, Violet, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Also want to welcome tech expert Shelley, who's joining us virtually. Shelley, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Listen, you guys see this very differently, and so we can talk about those differences. Violet, you said that in your real life, you got bullied and picked on a lot. What about?
Well, when I was younger, I was being bullied I was born with a birth defect where I had no enamel on my teeth, so I've had veneers since I was 5. So growing up, I was always bullied about my looks. At one point, if people tell you, you're disgusting, you start to believe it. Like, for me, social media really saved me from where I was. I was crying every single day in my car. Before I would walk into work, I would cry myself to sleep because I was so depressed. My dream, my goal was to be a partner in my public accounting firm. I knew it wasn't going to happen. And for me, I didn't have social media before. So when I created it specifically for that, it was my escape. And then I got to connect with people all over the world where people could actually relate to me. And I was like, wow, I'm not alone. And it was like one of the first times in my whole life where I felt like I fit in, where I felt like people understood me. And it was all thanks to social media.
So, Shelley, what do you think about what she's saying? I mean, to her, she's saying this was therapeutic. It was an outlet. It was cathartic for her.
It's a business, Dr. Phil. It's a business.
Right.
And it's a pure business. And so she goes to work with a persona, like so many of us do. When I present during my business day, I present as either the professor of advanced media at Newhouse School, or I present as the CEO of the Palmer Group. And I act accordingly. When I was president of the Emmy Awards, I presented as the president of the Emmy Awards, not as Shelley Palmer, the father and grandfather. We have personas. She goes to work with a persona. It's totally fine. But there was one thing that was said that I'd like to take a little issue with. If you don't like it, you can just turn it off. Well, maybe, but maybe not.
But isn't that true in the real world as well?
No, it isn't actually, because the algorithms are tuned to keep you engaged no matter what, especially if you look like me. You love donuts. I love donuts. I can have the discipline not to eat the donut, but I can't have the discipline not to feel like I want the donut, because the dopamine is released and I'm all excited about the donut. And so that's what happens here. I'm on social media scrolling and I am becoming more and more addicted because the algorithm is tuned more and more to what it is I care about. So while you may have the discipline to turn it off, it's very, very hard to do so. I applaud what she's done with Daddy Issues. I think it's fantastic, but it's not the average person's experience on social media.
Right, but when you were speaking, you said you were using words, or I could do this, or I may do this, which means when you were using those words that you had a choice each single time.
I'm simply saying you can have the discipline to make a choice, but you cannot force yourself not to feel what it is you feel. And when dopamine is released at this level,
right,
you don't have the ability not to feel. You may have the ability and the discipline to choose.
Research shows that you need 7 days to change a bad habit into a good one. So it's the same thing.
We're not talking about
I know,
habits
but social media is kind of the same thing. If you know something's affecting you badly.
No, it's not. You don't know. That's the whole point. It feels great, so it doesn't feel bad in any way. It blankets us in the comfort of the information that makes us feel awesome, and we feel great about it. And we don't know whether the information we're seeing is real or fake. The world is real or fantasy. We don't know if the information is true or false or harmful or not. And so, yes, you can build a habit in 7 days for sure. I agree with you completely, fully agree with you.
Yeah.
But I don't agree that this is a choice that people make. It's a discipline they'd have to have. And some people are healthy enough and savvy enough to make that choice. You clearly are, but not everybody.
Well, that's one of the things that I want to talk about today, because listen, 69% of adults and 81% of teens use social media in the United States, and I'm not naive enough today to think that we're going to dramatically change those percentages. What I do hope is we can cause people to maybe be a little more conscious of what effect it has on them. And I hope we can at least make people aware that they're comparing themselves to a fiction, to a fantasy in many respects, because those aren't real people. Those are filtered people, photoshopped people, and that's not reality. And we're going to talk about that next, because from booty lifts, lip filler, Botox, eye transformations, how is social media affecting our beauty standards? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Studies show that Instagram has been overwhelmingly negative in the way women think about their bodies. We want the world to know that your body is an instrument, not an ornament.
I'm able to be on my phone at home, scrolling, literally like ordering from a McDonald's menu. You're able to pick what services you want to try. I have had chin filler, Botox in my forehead, cheek filler. There's no shame in my game.
Tomorrow. If she tried to have you killed, is that a deal breaker?
No, she's my girl. Did his wife hire a hitman?
You try to have him murdered? No. She can't order lunch, let alone a hitman. So you're saying the police were there and the hitman ran out in front of them?
Yes, sir.
If you really believe the woman tried to have you murdered, what do you chat about over Raisin Bran?
I just try to not believe my own hype.
You either believe it or you don't.
That's tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, her baby was starved to death by a religious group.
He died in my arms.
He was alive when they handed him back to you.
The shocking details.
The baby's body began to decompose.
I couldn't leave him. Anyone that says they don't use Photoshop is a liar. I do edit my photos, but it's very minor stuff. Like, let's say I hate my under eye, so I'll smooth under my under eye a little. We're all insecure inside, and we're not doing it for other people. We're doing it for ourselves. It's like you're kind of pressured to do it. I'm a victim of filters on Instagram, too. I use them all the time. When I actually look in the mirror, that's when I remember, oh, I don't look like that. And actually, the other day on my story, I posted a video of myself without a filter, and then I felt like such a hero.
It's the great 21st century debate. Is social media healthy or harmful? And obviously, it's not all one way or the other. Violet says it helped her career, but expert Shelley Palmer says it's just downright dangerous. Now, twin sisters, Dr. Lexi and Dr. Lindsay Kite, they just agree with Shelley. They're body image experts and co-authors of a great book, More Than a Body, who say social media has negative impacts on all of its users, especially women. Take a look.
Social media is highly addictive. The algorithm is designed to make you think, oh, I do not measure up. I need to figure out how I can fix myself. My twin sister Lexi and I both realized that we had really been affected by media representation of women's bodies. Social media really magnifies that problem by giving a platform to ask other people to value and validate your looks. Studies show that Instagram has been overwhelmingly negative in the way women think about their bodies. Many women admit to photoshopping and editing their own photos, using filters whenever possible. It's actually causing us real harm. Filters seem really fun and innocent, but we recommend that people avoid them because it changes your perception of your own face. It's not good for your body image. My sister and I were both taking a course in media literacy. We got PhDs studying body image and media representation of women's bodies, and we spent about the last 10 years traveling around the country doing speaking engagements. We are working to redefine not just the look of beauty, but its meaning and value in our lives. We had felt like we needed to write a book. Together, we feel like we have crafted a message and a book that it's resonated really strongly with people. We want the world to know that your body is an instrument, not an ornament. People feel bad about their bodies, and social media makes that much worse.
Fatima is the founder of AFL Beauty and says social media has removed the taboo of changing your body. She says many users want to look just like the pictures they see, and if they want fillers or surgery to feel more confident, well, then they should do it.
Without a doubt, social media has changed my life. I'm able to be on my phone at home, scrolling through the feed, and I'd say, oh my God, look at this before and after picture. Like literally like ordering from a McDonald's menu. You're able to pick what services you want to try. There's Botox, there's filler, there's cheek lift, there's thread lift, there's breast lift. It's never ending. I had a huge bump on my nose. It made me very insecure. And I had seen that you can get your nose fixed with filler. I immediately booked an appointment. My lips were a huge insecurity for me as well. As soon as I got that one syringe in my lips, it changed my life. It gave me confidence. I felt like people weren't just focusing on that bump and those little paper-thin lips of mine. I was so floored by the amazing transformation that I decided to create my own beauty bar, and I'm a college dropout. I have had chin filler, Botox in my forehead. I have had cheek filler, shots here to contour my face. I've had the slimming shots to contour here and to melt the fat. There's no
my game.
The most requested look for the fox size is the Bella Hadid fox eye thread lift. I tried it myself, and I'm close to 40. Social media has completely normalized all these treatments. Back in my day, when people were getting Botox, they were very like hush-hush about it. I thought it was taboo, and that's why I love social media. I tell everyone that beauty starts from within. But if something bothers you, you fix it. I did. It made me happier.
Well, welcome, Fatima and Dr. Lexi. Thank you both for being here. Dr. Lindsay is joining us virtually. Dr. Lindsay, thank you for joining us as well.
Hi, so happy to be here.
Congratulations on your book, More Than a Body.
Thank you.
Great job, great read. I think it's got a lot of information for people to... I don't think you can read this book and not feel better about yourself.
Oh, thank you. What a compliment.
I mean, that's your goal, right?
Yes.
For people to be more accepting of who they are and redefine the yardstick they use in measuring who they are.
Absolutely.
So if that was your goal, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Thank you so much.
So congratulations to both of you on that. Now, Fatima, your point is, if there's something about yourself you don't like, and it's fixable, it's changeable, and you have the means to do it, then why not do it?
Yeah, of course. Why not? If it makes you happy.
Is there anything that you wouldn't do?
Surgery-wise?
Yeah, to make a change.
I mean, I feel like I pretty much did a lot. I've enhanced a whole bunch of things, and I don't think that there's anything that I really wouldn't do unless it's safe. Like, I wouldn't break a bone to enhance something.
You made a point that there was a time when people would be secretive about that, like sneak around to get Botox or something. But you're saying, what's the point? Why would you hide it?
I feel like a long time ago, it was such a taboo to have all these things done. And of course, everyone in Hollywood does it. Everyone in the TV and the movies, they do it, but they're hush-hush about it. Yeah. So I had super paper thin lips when I was younger. And the first time I've ever received fillers was when I was 20, 21. I had my lips done. I was made fun of for having paper thin lips. And even though I was a beautiful girl, I just didn't want people to constantly point out my flaw. As soon as I did it, it made me immediately feel better, and I felt more secure.
We grow up believing that we are bodies first and people second. And we're here to tell the world that there is another way.
Is your smile adding years to your face?
The secret to a brilliant, youthful smile.
With celebrity cosmetic dentist, Dr. Korush Madahi.
Where does the aging aspect come from?
The pioneer of anti-aging dentistry.
Their whole arch narrowing, the cheeks go in.
Is all of this fairly easy to correct?
I've got a secret with Robin McGraw.
You can really have the most beautiful smile in a matter of 2 weeks.
Available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Do you know a loved one who stopped working at the start of COVID and is now refusing to return to the work? Well, the current social media beauty trends are fox eye, the Kardashian look, Russian lips, jawline, cheek and chin filler, facial contouring, nose jobs, lasers, you know, things along those lines. And how do you feel about women that are driven to do those things?
I don't shame or blame anybody for what they do in the name of beauty, in the name of just feeling like themselves. But what I do know is that we all grow up and grow older in a world that convinces us that we are parts in need of fixing. We grow up believing that we are bodies first and people second, and that in order to not be bullied, in order to feel okay, in order to be successful, to connect with other people, we must look at our body as a compilation of parts in need of fixing. And we're here to tell the world that there is another way. And while I would never shame or blame you, I also want you, and I would want anybody else that is considering needing to get stuff done just to feel like themselves, to know that you can be whole in your body as it is. Because Lindsay and I believe that we are diagnosing the wrong problem. We believe that women don't feel beautiful enough, and so we try to feel more beautiful. We try to fix ourselves to feel more beautiful. When Lindsay and I believe the real problem, the root of the problem, is that we are defined by beauty. It's not that we're not beautiful enough. It's that we are so defined by it that we become truly confined by that beauty.
Yeah, Dr. Lindsay, let me ask you this. I think I've often said that psychologically, body image and self-image tend to vary together. They should not. You're not a better person but for some reason, we know historically, empirically, that body image and self-image vary together, although it shouldn't. And you think that's part of the problem with women being defined in the wrong with the wrong yardstick.
Yeah. It absolutely is. In our research, we found that when people described their bodies, they overwhelmingly described how they looked, not how they felt, what they could do, what they had experienced. And this is women primarily. When women are defined by their bodies, then their whole self-worth becomes overtaken by whether or not they feel beautiful.
I saw a study one time that said 70-something% of men would rather have a body part amputated than be bald.
Oh, wow.
So it's appearance for them too, Shelley, right?
Yeah.
And yet, look at you proving to the world that you can be successful and happy and confident without hair.
Yeah, they ain't cutting a damn thing off of me.
I would like to add that for women in general, though, we've had issues and body dysmorphia we developed since we were young. Right now, all of us are sitting here and our businesses, in a way, even though we're making people happy, we're profiting off of insecurities of everyone's social media. Because you guys are against it, and maybe we're saying social media is good, but still, conclusion is, all four of us are sitting here making money off of people's insecurities, whether you want to admit it or not.
I'll take it a step further. This conversation is so exemplary of the actual problem. When it was just celebrities, we had celebrity envy and we had beauty magazines, and they were airbrushed before they were photoshopped. But now, every person you know, in your whole circle of friends, in your sphere of influence, is able to do this in a way that only celebrity magazines could and the tabloids could before.
Yeah.
So we have body dysmorphia, but now it's amplified because it's everyone you know. And so if you were a little insecure before, now you don't know who's real, who's fake. Do I need to do that? Everyone around me is more beautiful than I am. It's the amplification of social media that has caused this conversation.
Up next, a man who says he was catfished by a woman he met on social media who used Photoshop and filters to alter her appearance. Is this a common problem nowadays? And well, let's just talk about that next.
I contacted a girl on social media. She looked like everything I usually like. Once I saw her, she definitely wasn't the girl that I expected. I definitely feel like she catfished me. I just told her, you don't look like your Instagram. Now, like when I get on FaceTime with a woman, so I'm gonna let me get a little spin so I can see what's going on.
Americans on social media have used beauty filters before posting pictures online, which can sometimes cause problems. Just ask Sonny. He was talking with a woman through social media and flew her out to Miami for a romantic weekend. But he says when she showed up, he couldn't really recognize her. She didn't look like her pictures.
Not long ago, I contacted a girl on social media. When I saw her online, she looked like everything I usually like. We had chemistry from the very beginning. We talked to each other for about 2 weeks before we got a chance to see each other in person. I booked her a $400 round trip to come see me in Miami. Once I saw her, I could just kind of tell that it just wasn't the same. I gave her a hug, I embraced her. I just realized, like, man, I've been duped. She looked so different.
The way your Instagram looks and the way you look in real life is not the same thing.
She definitely wasn't the girl that I expected. I just told her, you don't look like your Instagram. I recorded what happened. It went viral.
The way you look in real life is not the same thing. It's not even a debate. It really is not the same thing at all.
I never said the girl was ugly. I just told her that I was deceived.
You're not ugly. You don't look like your gram. You don't.
I definitely feel like she catfished me. Social media is toxic and it causes a lot of comparison. It's definitely hard for men as far as it comes to like Photoshop. We don't really see the little blemishes or whatever might be there. Now, like when I get on FaceTime with a woman, so I'm gonna let me get a little spin so I can see what's going on. A woman's value isn't just how she looks, but our society is putting the pressure on them to use filters. If you don't have the right mental strength, it could be a detriment to you. I wish that women would use the platform to be more honest.
Wow.
Well, joining us virtually is Sonny. Sonny, I think it may be good that you're virtual.
Seriously.
But Sonny, your point is you were deceived.
For sure.
You said you had talked to her for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would say about 2 weeks.
And y'all got along really well?
Yeah, the conversation was great. I feel like we had chemistry. It was good.
But the conversation, the personality mix, the chemistry, that all kind of dried up. What happened to the conversation and chemistry and all?
I saw that she didn't look like the woman I was pursuing online.
Yeah, did some people think you were being shallow?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought I was being shallow about it, you know, but everyone is entitled to their own standard.
You should have known better. You should have FaceTimed her. You should have FaceTimed her and made sure to see the real her.
Did you FaceTime with her?
Yeah, I FaceTime her, but I'm not the type of guy that's going to get on FaceTime, and I'm not really going to be asking girls to show me their body and stuff like that. That's not really my style.
It's your style to videotape it, though, secretly, and then make it go viral. That's your style. But it's not your style to ask her to show you her body before she flies to Miami.
I actually videotaped the young lady because in my apartment, when I started to tell her that she didn't look the same, she started raising her voice and yelling at me. So I felt like I had to defend myself. I started recording her. That's why you don't see her face or anything.
Right.
If you're in this dating game, and
she is,
and I haven't been on a date with anybody other than Robin in almost 50 years. If you know that's the game, why would someone, guy or girl, send image A and then show up as B? You know that it's going to hit the wall.
That's your way in. You're looking for attention. You're looking for people that you have mutual attraction with. You look like you'd have things in common. When we're filtering ourselves, we know that men are looking at the surface. Women are also looking at the surface. But for men, these ideals of what women should look like in order to qualify, to be loved, to be sexy enough, usually look just like those mediated cultural ideals we've all been having our whole lives. So they often think that these are real ideals, that women really look like that. And so women manipulate their images to be able to get their foot in the door.
Let me give a piece of advice to everybody out there. Psychologically, under-promise and over-deliver.
Yes.
We got to take a quick break. Up next, two Beverly Hills plastic surgeons say some of their clients have an altered reality regarding their body image due to comparing themselves on social media and images that use filters. They show up and say, look, I want to look like this filter. We're going to meet them and talk about that next. We'll be right back.
These influencers have to sit at home and edit all their pictures. They Photoshop their inner arms, their thighs, their bellies, to the point where they're just not even physiologically normal.
We may see people who bring in photos of celebrities who have these tiny pencil noses, who have these teeny button tips, and in reality, that's not surgically achievable.
Tomorrow.
If she tried to have you killed, is that a deal breaker?
No, she's my girl.
Did his wife hire a hitman?
You try to have him murdered? No. She can't order lunch, let alone a hitman. So you're saying the police were there and the hitman ran out in front of them?
Yes, sir.
If you really believe the woman tried to have you murdered, what do you chat about over Raisin Bran?
I just try to not believe my own hype.
You either believe it or you don't.
That's tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, her baby was starved to death by a religious group.
He died in my arms.
He was alive when they handed him back to you.
The shocking details.
The baby's body began. Now, Beverly Hills plastic surgeon and partners for 16 years, Dr. Sullivan and Dr. Littner, say there has been a rise in plastic surgery due to social media, and a lot of the filters are just not a realistic look with surgery. You can't get to the filter look surgically and still be able to breathe and function. Take a look.
The reason I don't like social media is because it creates an illusion that doesn't really exist. It creates expectations that can't be achieved.
A lot of people follow influencers and see photos or videos that are just unrealistic. They're doctored, they're photoshopped, they're fake.
These influencers have to sit at home and edit all their pictures and then post. They are photoshopping their inner arms, their thighs, their bellies, to the point where they're just not even physiologically normal.
Photoshop is a real problem. It's just not real. It's completely distorted. We may see people who bring in photos of celebrities who have these tiny pencil noses, who have these teeny button tips, and in reality, that's not surgically achievable. We do exclusively facial plastic surgery. We have a real specialty in rhinoplasty, but we also do brow lifts, face lifts, eyelid lifts.
Dr. Linder and I have been really doing computer imaging to show patients what a real expectation is. You can really do some really interesting things that are a little bit different. One option is to just make everything smaller, but really retain her natural aesthetic.
We're surgical psychologists. We spend half of our time essentially doing psychiatry, half of our time doing surgery.
There has to be a real education process with us and talking them through what is real, what they can expect.
Social media is really presenting an altered image of reality for patients, and people need to know it.
Well, welcome to both of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Are there patients showing up with just unrealistic expectations?
Yeah, you know, we have a really interesting cohort of patients who come in, and for the most part, I'll say that, you know, most patients come in with real expectations. They're coming in feeling a little bit like they want some rejuvenation. They've got a bump on their nose. They really do have like realistic ideals. But I do think at the same time that Instagram in particular has really warped the image a little bit. They see themselves with these filters. They see themselves face-tuning themselves. They also see others who they don't realize are doing these things. A lot of the influencers really do Photoshop and face-tune and filter and then post. And so they don't really understand what is real and what's not.
Well, Shelley, that's one of your ultimate original points is that there is a real confusion, particularly with younger people, about knowing what's real and what's fantasy, right?
Absolutely. And most importantly, not only do you not know what's real and what's fake, you are forced into believing that the closest connections that you have all look like what they don't look like. Not only are they lying to you, importantly, they're lying to themselves.
Have you written into the show and haven't heard back yet? Send us your email again. We want to make sure we don't miss it. Log on to drphil.com and click on Be on the...
Now that some of the COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted, we can have a studio audience back.
If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and would like to attend a taping, go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience and select In Studio.
Tickets are free, and we can't wait to see you here.
Are there those, because of the unrealistic images that they're comparing to, and 57% of the people say that they compare themselves negatively to these images, that no matter what you do, they're never going to get there?
Absolutely. I mean, we're not psychologists, but as I said, a lot of what we do is asking those questions. We're really trying to understand motivations, understand expectations, understand what patients are coming in looking for and whether that's something real, honest, or not. And, you know, as Dr. Solomon said, the vast majority of patients who come to see us are well-adjusted. This is happy surgery. They have one feature that bothers them and has bothered them forever. And getting that taken care of transcends them into a different place in terms of self-confidence, self-awareness, feeling good about themselves. That said, there are patients who come in and who are very much influenced by this social media phenomenon.
Well, and the algorithms are designed to take the person deeper and deeper into what it is they tend to value. Yeah. And so if there's something that they tend to respond and spend more time on, they'll start feeding them those images, which pulls them deeper and deeper into that sort of thing. And if it's unhealthy for them, then it really is an addiction. I mean, there truly is a dopamine track, just as there is with anything else. And if it's something like daddy issues, you're selling in there. It's a healthy brand.
But that's what this makes me so sad. Like, this whole show so far has been so focused on looks, and it seems like that seems that that's all social media is, but it's not. I mean, I was literally in one of the worst places in my life before I created social media, and I was suicidal. Social media helped me find friends worldwide. It helped me find myself. It helped me feel like I fit in. There's so many beautiful things to social media, including even her and her sister being able to help so many women with body dysmorphia and all these things. Like, that's what I even tried to do on my podcast as well. And it's to tell people that, like, it doesn't matter whether tomorrow you won't have social media. You still won't feel good about yourself look-wise if you don't feel good inside.
We really need to be aware of who's watching. And overwhelmingly, it's young girls who are looking for what makes them valuable.
All right, coming up, a Facebook whistleblower went to Congress to try and pass a bill about social media. What came of it? We'll talk about that and who really is vulnerable to misinformation when we come back.
Facebook knows that they are leading young users to anorexia content.
Frances Haugen, the former Facebook employee turned whistleblower, told Congress Tuesday that social media giant...
Visit our website and subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, live strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today. You know, I spoke earlier about the fact that a whistleblower came up with lots and lots of documents and actually testified before Congress and other places. And we were talking about a study about the impact on female teens. And several of the highlights: social media worsens the overall well-being, self-esteem, life satisfaction, mood, and body image. And 13.5% said suicidal thoughts became more frequent. 17% said eating disorders worsened. 32% said body image worsened. Instagram subject users who won social comparison, social pressure, negative interactions with other people. So when you look at it, the idea was that the algorithm was designed to keep people on the site more and more. And that the knowledge was had by those in control that this was occurring, and nothing was done to mitigate that.
It is a highly tuned advertising delivery platform. All other conditions are secondary. So it's tuned to get you to engage, because when you're engaged, you're more likely to click on something the platform is going to make money from.
You know, Robin and I are clickbait. Yeah. You put us in a headline and it'll say, you know, CBS upset that Dr. Phil and Robin are doing A, B, and C. And you click on it and they're selling some drug for joints or something, you know. It's crazy. We chase them all the time. I mean, these companies, it's crazy. It's just anything to get people to click through. And the problem with teenagers is they aren't sophisticated enough to discern between reality and fantasy.
That's why we say your body is an instrument, not an ornament. If you come from this place of seeing your body as instrumental first and ornamental as secondary, third down the line, then your life opens up. Your possibilities for your life open up. You are more than a body to be looked at, to be fixed and judged. And when we can see that, our lives open up in the most beautiful ways.
I think it's really important that we talk about all of these